Arigato gozaimasu. 78.6 FM Yomatan, positive vibes with a Winsome. I am grateful and honored to be back on the air today. It's not a sunny, beautiful day in Okinawa, but you know what? Anytime, anywhere, wherever you are and whoever you are, bring your own sunshine, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the third segment. I just want to make sure I told everyone thank you. If you're listening, if you're watching, however you're paying attention to today's segment, man, thank you so much. 78.6 FM Yomatan, Positive Vibes radio show, going on 2 years this year. Last year was incredible. I had a really good time, man. That was my first year. July of last year made my first year on the show, and July of this year makes 2 years. Man, it's incredible. This opportunity presented itself coming from the radio show in Thule and, of course, the spots that I was blessed to be able to have before that and media relations and opportunities before then, just built up to this. If you're tracking, if you're paying attention, you know the first segment, we always do our thumb ball segment. If you've been in here with us for the last couple of weeks, you know we kind of shifted everything, man. It's been a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for us to be representing and being the spokes team for thumball.com and trainerswarehouse.com. Thank you so much to those families and teams for trusting us with their products, man. So as ambassador of your product, I'm everywhere I go. Every time I teach, it's how I start the lesson off. It's a wonderful icebreaker, wonderful way to get the show started. And if you're tracking for the past 2 years, the third segment of the show was always dedicated to the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Team. This year, starting this month, as a matter of fact, as a new team member, a new team is forming, definitely the Integrated Resiliency Team right here at home on Kadena Air Base. So our third segment from now on will be dedicated to the Integrated Resiliency Team on Kadena Air Base. Hopefully on my site soon, I'll be able to have our community support coordinator on there. We'll be branching out, of course, and doing other things across the island and hopefully beyond the island eventually. But the Integrated Resiliency Team on Kadena is doing some beautiful things. I'm blessed to be a part of that. I'm blessed for the opportunities we've had over the last couple of weeks. If you've been seeing my Facebook, or you'll see soon that I'll be posting clips going out to units and speaking life into people. Man, let me go back and say that again. Going out to individual units, teaching, facilitating, coaching, all the things that I was going to do out here in the civilian world. The United States Air Force has found an opportunity for me and provided an opportunity for me to bridge all of that and do that right here for the Air Force and for the Army and for the Navy when those opportunities present themselves, and Marines here in Okinawa. So if you're listening, our team is ready. Me and Sergeant Gross, the new career assistance advisors, we're so blessed. Everyone who walks in our door has a story. And for sharing those stories with us, thank you. Because as you grow, as you develop, as you learn, and as you achieve those goals, milestones, overcome those obstacles, we're watching, we're learning, and we're a part of that story. So it's a blessing to be a part of those stories. So I say all that to say this: 78.6 FM Yomatan, positive vibes with Winsome, almost 2 years, right? One more month, we'll be at our 2-year point. 20 July, if I'm not mistaken, we hit 2 years on this show, and I can't get enough of these folks, man. They're so wonderful, so kind, so generous, and coming back to the uniform and thinking I wouldn't have this opportunity, and it still exists, is just a blessing, and I'm counting those every single day. If you're also tracking Mr. G, I'm going to call him and text him after this, but with everything we have going on this month, this would have been a perfect opportunity to have our next lesson with Mr. Scott Garricky. So I'm going to try to see if he's available within the next 2 weekends. I myself am going to be in class. I will be on the same schedule as the United States daytime for the class that I have for the next 2 weeks. A lot of great things out there, keeping my mind occupied. This week I had a blessing to be able to teach self-care, emotional intelligence. One of the most recent courses, I had to learn it on the fly because my teammate was actually not feeling well. but I learned a course called Failing Forward. Was what I taught on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you, it was Thursday. Let me tell you something about that lesson. The feedback, first and foremost, if you're listening in and you provided feedback for that class, that lesson, my very first time, I had two and a half days with the material, and I tried to make it my own. That feedback was amazing. And, I can't walk back in the room without feedback. So we have these folks fill out what they took away from the class. And one guy even put, I normally don't fill these out, but I love this. And so that really resonated with me. And so me and Sergeant G, my teammate Joe, JG, we're going to go back and revamp the course, update it, and make it even better for the next time. I say, hey, man, I want this one. Because if you're talking about people who fall but know how to get back up, or teach them how to get back up, tell them why it's important not to stay down. Why, if you can look up, you can get up. Why those things are important. Teaching that and having an hour and a half to just speak life into those folks in the room and get those stories back to you as well. Oh, man. If y'all know me, if you've been listening, you know that class was built for me. So self-care, emotional intelligence, we got some more classes coming up. Big shout out, huge shout out to our new community support coordinator. I normally don't talk this much about my day job, right? During the week job, but it's been so many beautiful opportunities and so many wonderful people have presented themselves and just consistently been awesome. Miss Shelley Merritt, our new community support coordinator. I had worked with her before while we were at the Airmen and Family Readiness Center when I was doing what you would call an externship with that team prior to that original retirement story. She's been amazing. Just to see her vision in action, to see her learning on the stuff that she's picking up quickly and running with it, and to see just how every day she's coming with something new and better than yesterday, which is, if you're listening or if you listen often, that's my thing, better than yesterday. So, Shelly, man, shout out to you, my teammate, wingman. I've enjoyed every opportunity we've had to go out to these units together and speak life into people. You always give me a little boost, too, when you're in the room, kind of like when Mr. G's in there. I always get a boost when I see Mr. G. It's like seeing a proud pops in the room when I'm speaking, and I see Mr. G. He'll do this thing with his head, and I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go, right? 78.6 FM Yomaton, positive vibes with Winsome. Getting back to the first segment's purpose, it's the thumb ball segment. So, of course, we asked 4 questions from the thumb ball. This week, though, I'm setting up my new office, and I'm teaching. So I took all of the thumb balls that I normally have, and I took them to my office and have them set up real cool so anybody who's teaching in our building can grab one and use it, right? It's for everybody. It's not for us. It's for the students, right, who are in the room. So I got one that I didn't take with me. I haven't used before, and I'm actually excited about using it. This one is self-control. Self-control. So it's a youth light thumb ball. If you guys are familiar with youth light, this is for the schools and that age group, right? The school age group. But however, everyone's a student. And one of the key components to the class I love to teach, which is EQ, emotional intelligence, is about self-awareness. So when I ordered this ball, that was the class I had in mind, right? So I'm going to throw this up 4 times. I'm going to answer the questions. I'm not going to do anything. I haven't looked at the questions on here to practice the answers. I had a friend, she heard a few weeks ago, and she was like, hey, so you just throw the ball up and you just answer and you don't worry about how people might take your answer? I said, look, if I started worrying about how I sounded answering honestly and openly, then I automatically just stripped away all the genuine attempt of our show. Anything that was genuine and authentic about this show is gone because I'm just becoming one of those other scripted shows. Nothing that we do is scripted. Everything in here is from the heart. Even when Mr. G comes in here, he talks about his lecture, whatever he's teaching us, our conversation isn't scripted. This is all from the heart. This is all our time because we love people. We love putting life back out there because so much has been given to us. and we're appreciative of that. So again, 4 times, right? Let's do it. First one, bam, my thumb lands on. Healthy thoughts for you are, I try to practice a positive mindset. And healthy thoughts for me are positive affirmations for me. I was teaching this last week, and I was really trying to tell everyone, hey, always remember who you are. One of the beautiful things that my mentors always installed upon me is remember who you are. So when you get up, be proud of who you are. So when I'm putting my little uniform on, I'm saying things like, you got this. No matter what comes at you, you can overcome it. Don't let someone else's negativity bring you down. There's always going to be somebody talking behind your back, but they're behind you for a reason. These are the things that you say to yourself. These are the affirmations that get me going in the daytime. And then I put my motivational music on, something triumphant to start my day. Imagine that. Heroic, triumphant to start my day. We got this, right? That's reinforcing that positivity. All right, so hopefully I answered that question. Positive thoughts to me are making sure you have a positive mindset entering your day and going through the day. All right, next question. Bam. Problem solving is when. That's awesome. So problem solving is when you know there's a problem, when you identify a problem, and you go about trying to take care of it so it's not a problem anymore, right? We were teaching a class called conflict resolution, how there's so many different ways to approach it, which some of them is avoidance, right? Compromise, right? For me, I look at problem solving as a story, a quick story. Someone who last year there was an issue, that we had a conversation that there was an issue with us based on that conversation. I didn't take away issue because I presented, this is the problem, and I really want to understand your take on it because this was my perspective. When the person gave me their perspective, I agreed to disagree, and I moved on, right? And I'm easy to do that. I don't have to have a prolonged conversation if I'm moving on from it. So this person carried away some bitterness towards it, just to the fact that I approached it and didn't just let it go. But I can't. I don't like leaving stuff out there and avoiding it and then letting feelings build up for no reason. If there's an issue, address it. That's what problem solving is to me. I had a follow-up conversation recently with the same person. I said, hey, if you don't know this, because I see you tiptoeing around me, the beef that you might have carried over from last year, I don't carry that same beef with you. That's not a me thing. That's a you thing. So I just want you to know I'm here if you need anything. I'm not going to hold, I don't hold any grudges. I haven't held any. So I just want you to understand that I am still here. Come on, man. I wish something. Hey, anyway, next question. We got 2 more to go, right? All right. Give an example of self-control. Let's go self-awareness. Self-control and self-regulation, understanding how you approach a situation and thinking about it. Sometimes you got to take a pause, a breath before you engage because you want to make sure you're taking other people's consideration into account as well. Self-control, knowing who you are, being self-aware. Actions must match your intent. Making sure your actions match your intent. All right, here we go. Let's go. Last question. This one says describe a big deal. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to throw it up again. That's kind of... All right, bam. Someone calls me a name or calls me out of my name. How do I respond? I'm used to it. I was telling a story yesterday. I expect it. Sometimes when you're going through life, you'll realize that if you're a positive person, that your positive energy is going to disturb someone else's spirits. And I say it this way. I would say it 100% differently. Your positive spirit will disturb someone else's demons. Right? So I'm used to it. I've seen it. I've lived it. I understand it. So I know there's folks calling me out my name. Maybe not to my face, because that's a whole different set of... I was going to set my office up and put a little black Air Force One on the wall. One of my teammates, he thinks it's hilarious. I'm going to put a black Air Force One on my wall just so people don't take my kindness for weakness. And remember that I'm still about that life. All jokes aside, positive energy, right? Positive vibes. The black Air Force One is coming. But I'm sure it happens, but it doesn't change me. Doesn't affect my life or my story. That's their energy, not mine. 78.6 FM Yoma Time. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you. .6 FM Yoma Time. I'm confused because we're going back. Hopefully y'all could have saw me that first segment. So I'm gonna do this. I think that's showing me. Hey, 78.6 FM Yoma Time, man. I'm back. And I think when I moved it, it used to be the reverse, where if I move it up, I see the picture. If I move it down, I see me. So I'm hoping that I'm showing y'all the right thing out there in Yoma Time. All right, so anyway, 78.6 FM Yoma Time. Positive vibes of Winsome. Hey, guys, if you haven't noticed, I've put a big emphasis on what's going on with mentors. This year, my day job, right? I told you I ain't going to spend too much time talking about my day job, but ultimately a lot of things that I believe in, my values, have been empowered by my mentors. Right? The things that I value now that I may not have valued earlier on in my life are because my mentors took the time to help build and really support everything that I've chosen and decided to do, be it a good decision or bad decision. And I say that now because some bad decisions I had to learn from, right? There's always those consistent individuals that were always there, always supporting, always caring. Always there. So I say this to those individuals, man. Juneteenth weekend and 78.6 FM Yoma Time, positive vibes will win some. Juneteenth weekend is the next speech that we're doing. Last speech we did was with William King Hollis, and it was Keep Fighting. I enjoyed the heck out of that speech because it's my first attempt to work with somebody outside of my own studio and try to do something that was powerful. And I listen to it still to this day, man, since we did it, and I really enjoy the product, right? And what it ended up being. It's out on the website, positivevibesradioshow.com, under speeches, if you haven't been there. But the next one is just me. This is dedicated to my mentors, to the folks who from day one that I walked in their office and they were feeding me knowledge, advice, their story. It was never do this. It was, if you go left, make sure you pay attention to this. If you go right, look out for this. But if you hit a stumbling block or an obstacle, I'm here. Man, come on. Having those consistent people in your life is so important. Every time I post something, I know I'm going to see them, first couple of people to put a heart on it, right? And if not the first couple, when they get to it, it's always feedback. Always proud. I get a text message on the other side. I'm proud of you. I see you. To be seen, heard, and to have someone believe in you is a powerful thing. And watching them do that as I was growing and progressing and learning gave me the understanding of how important that is to do that for others. When you know that you can, you'll try. When you know that impossibility doesn't have to always be there, that it can be a possibility. You'll fight. When you know there's 99% of people who can't do it, but there's that 1% of people who can if they believe in themselves and they fight for it, you'll fight. And when you have those mentors in your ear, those coaches, those people who are giving you that motivation, that energy, and that belief, let me tell you how powerful belief is. Belief is so powerful that it can wake someone up in the morning. Belief is so powerful that it can get someone through the day. Belief is so powerful that it can help someone overcome one of the toughest missions in their lives. That word is power in itself. If you believe in something so much, you can make it a reality. It may not be exactly how you pictured it, but I know it'd be darn close if you fight for that vision. So I want to send a shout out to my mentors who have been there since day one. With me walking in your office, bright-tailed and bushy-eyed, however the phrase goes, just walking in there hopeful that you say something I needed to hear. And you've never let me down. So because of you and my new role, I do the same exact thing for everybody who walks in the door. I stop time for them. And I want them to leave feeling empowered. I want them to leave feeling like someone believes in them. I want them to leave feeling like whatever darkness was in their life isn't always going to be there. That they can be their own light in the darkness. I had a joke. One of my teammates said, "Hey, what's the L stand for in your name? Lighthouse?" And I said, "I'm keeping it. That's mine now. Winsome L. Cully. The L stands for Lighthouse. Because if I can be that beacon of light for somebody, then I'm doing my job. And if I'm doing my job, that's what I need to be doing." You'll hear it in the speech, and I don't care if I'm starting it off like this. Listen to me. One of my mentors said this, and I'll never forget it. I need to go find out who the quote actually came for, because to me, it came from that person. It'll always be from Mr. A. My man said, "They're not going to always remember everything you said. They're not going to remember everything you did. But WC," is what he called me, "they will always remember how you made them feel." So let me say this again. They're not going to remember everything you said. They're not going to remember everything you did. But WC, and if someone's telling you this, my friend, they will remember how you made them feel. So bring your heart every single day. Man, let me tell you, that has been my mantra, that has been my leadership style, that has been my approach to relationships, conversations, and people since the moment I heard that. And it's not always easy. Let me tell you something. You heard me joking about the Air Force One today. It's not always easy to maintain a positive mindset. And I want to talk about that because I think there's an unreasonable expectation that positivity means unrealistic expectations. And for me, I just want to clarify that. No, being positive means that when there's something that others take as a failure, you try to find the lessons. When you fail, you realize it's not over until I quit. When things aren't going your way, you find the good things in the bad. We have a lesson that we teach with the resiliency team is called finding the good. I think there's another piece called the good news, right? Bring the good news if I'm not mistaken. The point of that is if you can find the good, if you can always look for the good, then you're setting yourself up for success, for a mental positive mindset. And fighting for a positive mindset every single day. Let me tell you, it doesn't just happen. It takes practice. Because our minds are conditioned to chase the negative first. It's a fact. Why do you think, and I'm going to ask you this, a scientific fact, why do you think that we're so intrigued by seeing negativity? Why do you think the news flipped its entire structure to bring you something that sounds like a train wreck? Because it's going to get your attention. I don't do that. I'm the status quo. Why do you think I don't have 1 billion followers? because my message is bring the good news. Speak life in the people. Do you remember when John Krasinski, I believe it was last year, he had his little skit about good news? If I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what he was talking about. And it was always something good, something positive, right? Positive Vibes Radio Show. I kind of took a little shot about that. No, I'm just kidding, Jay. 100% people noticed that because it was different. You don't see this every day. There's somebody out here talking about positivity. There's somebody out here that's actually doing something with their life, someone professional, someone who's out there in front on TV, directing movies, acting in shows. This guy is focused on positivity. That spoke volumes to me. I'm a huge fan of his now. There's nothing he can do that I'm not going to at least give it an attempt, because that to me says that he has a good heart. And when someone has a good heart, that's man, you treasure those people. You learn from those people. You keep them close. Because when you might be going in the wrong direction, that person with the good heart, they're going to pull you back. And those people need to get pushed as well. Those people need just as much energy and positive light as well. You don't think being a positive beacon or a positive light in a negative room takes energy out of you? There's been times I've walked into people who just drained, miserable, trying to lift them up. And I get home those evenings, and I tell you, you've heard this before, I'm spent. I don't want to pass go, collect $200. All I want to do is sleep because I'm tired, because my energy's gone. I need something to refuel. I need that affirmation. Hey, man, you got this. I'm writing in my journal where my power went, where my energy, where my focus was for that day, because I know I gave everything I had to try to speak life into people. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, man. Positive vibes will win some. They won't remember everything you say. They won't remember everything you do, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So bring your heart every single day. Mr. A, I love you for that, because you've made me a better person and a better man, carrying that with me. So many wonderful mentors around me. So many, I call them my Air Force angels, right? Because they presented themselves while I was in uniform. Got me through some dark times. And one of the coolest things about them is that they're still here. One person I don't give enough credit to is Angela Harris. And Angela Harris, when I took on my first gig as a team at a headquarters level, that lady showed me exactly what it was in that type of high intensity environment to still be able to lead with your heart. When everybody else is being strategic and political, she was taking care of the people. When everybody else was worrying about finding a way to yes, she was focused on putting her hand or her foot down if they weren't considering the folks who were making the work happen. So if I haven't said this to you before, Sergeant Harris, who was at the time Master Sergeant Harris, hey, man, I love you and appreciate you, and everything you taught me is also a part of who I am today. Sometimes people forget those things. I was doing a lot of reflecting lately. Thank you. If I haven't told you, I'll send you this clip. Thank you, Sergeant Harris. 78.6 FM Yomatan, Positive Vibes with Winston. We're coming back for our third segment, now dedicated to the Air Force Kadena Air Base Integrated Resiliency Team. Be right back. 78.6 FM Yomaton. I got to get used to this new dial we have over here because it's not like my old dial and the TV shifts. Usually I can't see myself. I can see myself now, but usually it's like a different direction for the screen to move. And now it's like opposite from what I'm used to. I'm old, man. So, when things change, we freak out, right? I'm over here like, can they see me on YouTube? Can they see me on this video? Hey, all jokes aside, 78.6 FM Yomaton, Positive Vibes with Winston. For the past 2 years, this segment has been dedicated to the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Team. My family will forever be my family. However, I have a new family. We have some new things we're trying to do, some new highlights we're trying to bring, and so I'm going to give them everything I have. The responsibility is accepted. Thank you, Miss Shelley Mayer, for the opportunity to be a part of the Kadena Air Base Integrated Resiliency Team. Moving forward, our segment, third segment of this show, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Radio, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes Radio Show with Winsome, is dedicated to the Integrated Resiliency Team on Kadena Air Base. Moving forward, thank you guys for everything you're doing, all the resiliency trainers, all the master resiliency trainers, MRTs and RTAs, and our community support coordinator. You guys are bringing it, man. I love what we're already doing with 2022. I love how a lot of the leaders are actually taking notice to our hearts, man. It's not about what's on our chest for the folks in uniform. It's what's in our chest, what's in our mind, and how we're bringing these messages. I'm bringing up the post that was posted on the Kadena Air Base resiliency page this week from Miss Shelley Merritt. So, Shelley, what I'm going to start doing on this show, man, is when you got a message, we're going to highlight it, right, for this third segment. And the last one, which is perfect for the season that we're in, because some of the kids that we were teaching, and I'm not going to say kids, some of the young adults that we were speaking to over the last couple of weeks, one of the questions that they had and that they're struggling with is that Okinawa is going through the rain season. Imagine moving to a new island, coming from somewhere in the States, and you can't explore, you can't do anything because the rain is just pouring, right? Shelley posted something, and she said, if you can't find the sunshine, I love this, and I'll tell you why in a second. If you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine. This is a quote that she found this week, which has set me up for this segment. Shelley, thank you. And if you've followed me, if you know my story, I always tell people, bring your own sunshine. I've been in places, I've been in jobs, I've been in environments where it was rough because there was a lot of negativity, there was a lot of negative energy, and there were a lot of personality conflicts. So to be the person that come in there and still bring your heart, bring the sunshine, bring your energy, and be consistent, and hoping that your consistency starts rubbing off on people. Your consistent positive energy starts rubbing off and gets infectious in those sections. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen it happen. I've seen it work. And if you know our story, if you know how I even got to this booth, you know that I spent a year in a place that there was 4 months where the sun didn't even come up. And you had to bring your own sunshine. And I'm not talking about the little fake lights that you turn on and it gives you like the simulated sunlight. I'm talking about the folks who had vitamin D deficiency. It was like having a camp full of werewolves at this location, trying to bring those personalities and hearts together and motivate, uplift, inspire in the darkest of places. With the winds hundreds of miles an hour, frozen island, polar bear alerts. Let me tell you, think about the environment and how you have to be consistent, how you have to show up with your heart every single day, how you can't falter. Even on your bad days, you got to find the good. You see, I had to practice this. And this is 3 years in a row. I had to practice this. That was 1 year where the sun didn't go down for 4 months and the sun never came up for 4 months. And then before that, it was a camp that we couldn't leave. And I'm in the responsibility of taking care of everyone. morale, entertainment on a camp that we can't leave because the people outside might not be kind to us. Listen to me. And then we move forward to where I get here in an environment where I'm learning and the team that I'm with is tired. Come on, man. You have to be consistent because you will find a way to break through if you're positive. You will find a way to break through if you're consistent. You will find a way to break through if you're authentic and genuine. You will find a way to break through if you care enough to try. Some people just roll into it aimlessly and then they end up a product of their environment. I refuse. Some people go in and say, hey, it's dark outside, so I'm going to stay in. I refuse. It's raining outside, so I'm not going to do nothing. I refuse. I was telling the same team a few weeks ago, that's funny, you guys didn't leave the room on that day that it was pouring because I went 50 minutes away to another part of this island that was sunny. I found the sunshine on this same island that you're sitting on. But we get so caught up in the environment and everybody else complaining about it's raining outside. There's no sun. There's no fun. I can't explore this. But remember what I told you. That's their lane. Don't run their race. Run yours. Let me tell you, when you see you're chasing your own sunshine, after a while, people start realizing you're chasing sunshine and they want to be in your lane. They want to know how you got to in that direction. What does it take to be positive? What does it take to have a positive mindset when there's storms around you? How do you find the calm? And you can tell them, just like I tell you every week, I know you can move, but can you be still? Still enough to find it, still enough to look for it, still enough to research it. How long does it take to know how many different parts of this island there are and find the one with sun and plan for it? And then I love telling them this, guess what? Trouble and rain don't last always. It goes away. I saw one of the most beautiful rainbows the other day. That's how I knew it was going to be a good day. And if you saw me on post, that's when the water was clear. You could see all the way down to the bottom when I was out there kayaking, getting over that fear of open water. So it opens up beauty if you get through the storm. But you got to make it through. And you got to stop accepting that a storm, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. That's just the way it is. No. Be the difference. Be the change. Be strong enough to fight for change. You never know who needs you to bring it every single day. Someone sees you. Someone's watching you. Someone's inspired by you. Someone is motivated to change. Someone sees your energy and wants some of it. And you have to know how to respond. And the only thing you have to do is be you. Genuine, authentic, positive, consistent. Have realistic expectations that not every day is a good day. But you don't hold on to it. What have I told you in the past? You don't allow one bad day to ruin your week. You don't allow one bad week to ruin your year. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Or ruin your month. And then you move forward. Let that month ruin your year. So I'll start all over. Let me tell you again. You don't allow one bad day to ruin your week. You don't allow one bad week to ruin your month. And you don't allow that one bad month to stick with you all year and it was a bad year. You survived. You got through it. You grew. You learned the lessons. You came back stronger. Nothing held you back from getting prepared for the next one. I appreciate everyone who listens every single time. We look at the numbers, how many people are listening in, the emails that get translated for me to understand the feedback that I'm getting here. It's beautiful. And understand something. We're just getting started. Although tomorrow's not promised, I promise you, if you give everything you have to today, it's going to be a beautiful thing. My teammate JG said something. I had one of his folks come see me because he was out of office. And his folks said, hey, so I had some homework. And I said, hey, what's up? What was the homework you had? Tell me, what was it? And remember, we give advice. That's what we do. And I love it. We get paid to advise, to counsel, to educate, motivate. Come on, man. And I said, what was the advice he gave you? He said, he gave me homework. He said, I want you to tell me what you want people to say at your funeral. I said, hey, I sat up in my chair. Wait a minute. What was the homework? He said, if you were to die today, not to be morbid, I want you to think about this when you're making decisions. What do you want your story to be? And when your story and when folks are speaking about you, what do you want them to say? So let me tell you where this went, because at first I was like, whoa, I was blown away. But I give JG credit because this dude made amazing decisions after that, and he read it to me. And my man said, he said, I want my family to say that I was always there for them, that I worked hard, that I was consistent, that I was loving, I was a good listener, I was a motivator. And I said, wow, okay, that's the family. Okay, well, what else did he have for you? He said, what do you want your coworkers, your teammates to say? That he worked hard. He showed up every single day and he brought his heart. That he came and that he was dedicated to the mission. That he didn't leave until every one of us was good to go. I said, wow, okay, so your family, your coworkers, who else did he have? He said, me. What do I want to hear? And it kind of mirrored, right, what the folks were saying in the room. And I believe it was family, coworker, I want to say it might have been kids or a wife, whatever it was. But it all echoed to what he wanted to do next. So I said, okay, cool. So why did you come in the first place? He said, I was at a crossroad. And I said, well, tell me about the crossroad. And he spelled everything out. And when he did this homework, right, what he wanted his story to be in the end, when he did his homework and he reverse engineered, you know, I love telling y'all about that. When he reverse engineered his story, he'd already made his mind up. The whole reason he came in to see us wasn't in existence anymore. He said, I realize now that this path that I'm on is the best path to get me to the finish line that I want. Whew. Hey, I'm going to send this clip to JG. Man, when he told me that, I was like, whoa. I said, now, I'm not a recruiter. I'm not here to tell you anything about decision making. I advise, but I'm going to spit back to you what you just told me. So these are the three options you walked in with at your crossroad. And the decision that you're falling on is to keep moving with the path that you're on, because it's going to get you to the finish line that you want. And he said, yeah. Whew. Chills down my, I didn't even know how to end that, because usually these are somebody that have a situation, they do homework, they come back, they're still and then they're still kind of iffy leading into some of these decision makings, right? They go back and forth sometimes. But when he reverse engineered his life and what he wanted from his family, his values, what he valued, my man said family, growth, security, this gets me there. When he identified this in this 45-minute conversation, and again, I'm listening. I'm going to listen in and spit back roll. I'm letting you determine your future. I'm not telling you what to do, because I want you to write your own story, your own book. So when he spit this back to me, chills, because he figured it out. So what I tell you, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes Radio Show with Winsome. You are loved. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Fight for your future. See you next week. Konnichiwa. Arigatou gozaimasu.